Hello, I am Gail of 876 Documents, and I help Jamaicans in the US obtain their passports and birth certificates and so on. I am a document preparer. I do not make passports. No. I thought I'd do a little Q&A. Not a Q&A, but just like a get to know me video. I think I've done one before, but it was more on the professional side. This is a little more fun. So some things that you might want to know about me. I was born in St. Thomas. St. Thomas, Jamaica. Obviously, I'm Jamaican. I was born in St. Thomas in a little tiny island called Island in Erie Castle. When I was a baby, or when we were babies, my mom took us to St. Elizabeth to live with her mother. And so I spent my early years growing up in St. Elizabeth, Barbary Hall. So shout out to anybody who's watching me who knows Island in Erie Castle and who knows Barbary Hall in St. Elizabeth, which is close to Williamsfield and Newell and Mountainside and Punside. If you know me from any of those places, or if you know those places, please say hi. So I was born in St. Thomas and I spent my early years in St. Elizabeth, and then I went to Kingston to live with my mother, and we lived off of Waltham Park Road. So if you know Waltham Park Road or used to live there, shout out to you. We lived there for a while, and then we moved to Olympic Gardens, and we lived in Baldpate Way, then Klinkling Avenue, and then Cockburn Avenue. My screen is blurry. So I was living in 3 miles, I think, for most of my life. I live off Waltham on a Shuka Road. Oh my goodness. I've lived so many roads in Jamaica. And my dad lived in Seaview. But I lived in 3 miles. I went to DuPont Primary, and then I went to Holy Childhood. And after Holy Childhood, I went to work. After I worked for a long time, I went to extramural in Camp Road. Is that where it is? I forgot the streets in Jamaica now. That's terrible. And then I went to UTech for a while. I went to UTech for a little while after 9/11. I went to study marketing, and then I was actually held up at gunpoint, and my car was stolen. And of course, I was terrified. And so I moved to the US, and I started college here in 2008. But I switched my major completely. I was no longer doing marketing. I studied communication disordered. I did not just say that. I studied communication disorders. I am a great communicator, trust me. I studied communication disorders while I was doing my bachelor's degree, though, which would make me a speech pathologist. While I was doing that, I worked for the Jamaican consulate from 2008 until 2017. I finished my bachelor's in 2015, took a year off, and I was sewing. Oh, I made this. If you want to follow me, it's Jewel by Gail. That's Gewel by Gail on TikTok, and at Gail Sews on Instagram. And it's Gayle. Everybody who messaged me called me Gail with a Gail. It's Gayle. And so by 2017, my course required that I do full-time hours. And so I quit the job. I was pregnant at the time as well, and my boss was like, oh, you know that you're pregnant, you should probably quit school and focus on your baby and earning an income. And I was like, what? Who would do that? My education is my future. Why would I give up my education to stay at a job? Anyway, I left that job. It was almost 10 years. And so I'd finished up my master's degree, which was not in speech pathology. It was in childhood education. So I am a literacy teacher. I left my teaching job last October after teaching for 3 years, teaching through the pandemic. A moment of silence for all the teachers who taught during the pandemic. And even more for the teachers who went back to teach after the pandemic and who are teaching right now. My hat off to you. I almost lost my whole sanity teaching during the pandemic. After the pandemic, we didn't even get a chance to get a break. We actually worked somewhat through the summer, and not completely, but we worked through the summer, and then we went back to school, and then we were hybrid. I had kids in the classroom and kids in Zoom, and it was just so much. It was so much. I was getting sick every morning before school, and then I turned in my resignation. So now my mainstay is document preparation. I do a bunch of other things, like I create digital products that I sell online for teachers, or I sell sewing patterns. But there are other little things that I sell online. I even sell on Amazon. But it's a very small shop, and I only sell like 2 items on Amazon. But I am right now a document preparer. I don't mind going back to a school to work. I don't know if I want to be a teacher again, because it is extremely strenuous. You don't get to have time after school, especially depending on the kind of school you work at. My school was a private charter school, and it was a lot. It was just a lot. There were so many meetings and so many reports and so much of everything. It's not the teaching. I love teaching. I would teach reading online right now. As a matter of fact, I have a TikTok account that I set up because I want to start getting into reading tutoring online for kids and even for adults, anyone who needs to learn to be a better reader. But I don't want to go back into the classroom. I would love a job in a school though. So if you're hiring in a school, I'll take a job in Connecticut. I'll take a job in South Carolina, maybe Texas, but I am not going to be a lead teacher. And I'm not going to be a floater or substitute doing all a teacher job and getting paid a substitute salary. Anyway, I am Gail of 876 Documents, and that was a few things about me. I'll make another video to say a little more so you can get to know me better before you send your documents to me. And I talk about how much I enjoy sewing. All right, thank you for watching.